I have a condition called NMOSD, which is basically neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder, which is a very long name. It affects 1 in 5 million people, and mainly for me, it affects my eyes. So like, I'm actually visually impaired. Like on paper, I'm severely visually impaired, but I look normal. Hi guys, I'm RUE SARSHA. Is it age as well?
Yeah.
I'm 19 and I study at the University of Leicester, studying business management and marketing.
What year are you in?
I'm in my second year
Can
currently.
you start your hometown?
So I'm from Hertfordshire, which is literally just like outside North London.
And your hometown?
Oh, okay. So I'm from Harare, Zimbabwe. So I was actually originally born there, but moved when I was a baby.
Can you tell us the course you're currently studying at university?
So I'm studying business management and marketing.
Why did you choose your course?
So when I was at college, I was actually studying a complete different subject, which was aviation and flight communications. So it was complete different. And I had one module in my second year, which was marketing, and I really, really enjoyed it. And I just thought that, okay, cool. Since I can't necessarily go to flight school because of the condition I have, which we'll probably touch on later on, but it was something that I desired to do, especially with my YouTube channel and stuff like that, trying to build up kind of platforms and be able to market to a certain type of audience, if that makes sense. But yeah.
So you're now 2 years into your course, or a year and a bit into your course.
A year and a bit, yeah.
What have you thought of your course so far?
It was very challenging in the first year because obviously COVID, and we didn't really have face-to-face learning, but I actually inquired to start again. So I'm retaking some of the modules that I would have had in my first year just to have like that knowledge and, you know, finalize those grades. And I find my course very interesting at times. Obviously, there's some modules you think like, okay, but why am I learning this? But in the future, when you now graduate and you're now in the working industry, it makes sense why you had to learn that at university, because it gives you like, it touches based on each experience within like a sector basically. But yeah.
Do you have a placement year on your course?
Yeah, we have they have offered us placement, so you can actually go to placement in the UK. A lot of people are going to London, Manchester, Birmingham, so these bigger cities where they have jobs of marketing executives and, you know, be able to create websites and digital marketing and stuff like that. Or you can actually study abroad and have a placement abroad as well. So I know one of my friends, she's not even doing my course, but she's going to, she does a language course. She's going to France to do her year abroad, but also work there so she can use her skills that she's learned in the past 2 years to do that.
Are you going to take a placement year?
Right now I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure. But obviously the deadline is coming up soon, so I have to kind of make a decision ASAP. But yeah, it's probably something that I would like to do because it'll be a good experience.
If we go back to school, college, what do you think the best A-levels / subjects are for your course?
So for my course, obviously it would be like business or economics. English would be a good one, just so you have the communication skills behind that as well. But obviously for me, I came from a complete different background, so I didn't know anything about my course, but I still feel like I'm still doing okay. Do you know what I mean? So like the tutors and stuff at the university are very helpful. You have a lot of people, you have a lot of academic skills that they teach you through your lectures if you don't even know anything about the course.
And if we now go into your university, what do you think the best and worst things about studying at your university is, starting off with the worst?
The worst thing is I feel like accommodation near the university can be very expensive. So in my first year, I started off living like in student halls, and it was just very expensive to share a kitchen and have your own ensuite bathroom. Was like £164 a week, which is quite pricey considering the fact that you're sharing with other people. But private accommodation is way cheaper. I would also say that where the business school is at my uni is so far. So no matter if you live right near the uni or like you live in town like what I do, it's still quite a bit of a walk. So that's probably like the worst thing that I'd say about coming to uni in my city. But yeah.
And the best things?
The best thing is that the city that I'm in is very diverse. Like, I've met a lot of people, being able to network, being able to have ample opportunities to kind of show and express who I am. Because at school, like, I don't know, like, it just didn't feel like you could express yourself the way that you wanted to. And everyone's coming from different places. So you're literally just networking with so many people. And like, this is probably one of the best decisions I made coming to Leicester.
Okay. If we're not going to the accommodation, you briefly went over it.
Yeah.
If we talk about where you lived in your first year, you talked about the price. Could you talk about what it was like, the ups and downs about living where you did, and what the name of the accommodation was?
So I lived at Opal Court first year, which is like probably one of the most, used accommodations. But obviously they've built Nixon Court and they've built more blocks there. Living at Opal, like, it was vibes. Obviously it was locked down at times, so people had these flat parties and it was very social and a social hub. But one thing that I would say is you have to be prepared. You have to be mentally prepared to be living with people that are dirty. I'm a very much ACD person. I'm very clean at times, and I don't like when people be stepping on my toes, especially when it's coming to the kitchen, because I like to cook. So you have to be prepared to be living with people that you don't know. You have to be prepared to be cleaning up after people, even though you don't want to. And yeah, I feel like that's about it, to be fair. But I did actually move accommodations, I think 6 to 8 weeks in living there, because I just couldn't do it anymore. And I moved into private halls and I lived in the studio.
And your second year?
Second year, so I'm living in a studio right now after moving in first year. I just thought that was the best decision to live by myself. I'm able to, concentrate on my work. There's not too much noise where I am. Everybody has a studio here. There's no sharing. And yeah, like, it's just very much, you're in your own hub. So yeah.
If we now go into the university area, can you tell us what it's like to live there as a student?
So coming from Hertfordshire, which is very much countryside, it's very much country, moving to Leicester, at the beginning, like, obviously you're coming to a foreign city. No matter where you go to university, you could be living in London and going somewhere else that could be like countryside area. You're coming to a different city. And I appreciate the fact that I come to university here, because there's actually way more things to do than there is back home. The city's okay, very city life. There's always police noises going around, but it's just something that you get used to. But yeah, I don't mind living in this area. I'm very comfortable and I'm used to where I am. People are not far to get to, do you know what I mean? Like, everyone's accommodation is quite near to each other, except from if you actually do live at the uni, which is a bit further, but that's pretty much it.
Can you tell us about the nightlife?
The nightlife in Leicester, funny enough, I'm actually ACS president for my university. So there's loads of opportunities for nightlife. We collab with a lot of like events companies like Uncle Tio, which is one of the biggest ones. And, the nightlife is very vibrant. There's a lot of urban music. You have people like coming from different cities to come here. It's very vibrant and it's very fun. And you just mix with different people. Like, you might not see that person again, but you're having a good time.
Can you tell us about the foods? Your restaurants, your kind of fast foods. What is that like?
Yeah, there's way more options than there is back home. Like, you can go on Uber Eats at 2 a.m. and find something to eat. But if you're back at home, that's not happening. So we have quite a lot of fast food. Town's not far to walk to. McDonald's, KFC, Burger King. If you want something, you can go and grab it. In terms of food restaurants, like, there's a lot of, I feel like it's very student friendly. Like, it's not too expensive. We have like a place called Bunk, so it's wings and cocktails, so you have 2-for-1 deals and stuff like that. So there's a lot of cocktail bars and bars in general, food spots that are not too expensive. You obviously have your Nando's, do you know what I mean? If you want a cheeky Nando's here and there. So yeah, the food here is like, it's good.
If we now go into the ACS president, like you talked about, you said you're the ACS president.
Yeah.
What is it like being, so just for explanation, obviously being an ACS president is mean you're a society.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about your society, what you do and what you do as the president?
Okay, so ACS.
What is a society?
Yeah, I was about to say ACS is the African and Caribbean Society, and obviously I'm the African and Caribbean Society president for University of Leicester. So with my role, I'm just the overlooker. I'm the person who organizes a lot of the things. So obviously I have my events manager, I have my events coordinator, I have a treasurer, I have a wellbeing officer, I have an inclusion officer, a secretary. We have a big team. There's probably about 11 of us in the team, but I'm the person at the top. Like, I'm the person that tells you, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. We can't do this. Okay, look at the budget. Is this okay? We run a series of events, not just like motives and parties and nightlife all the time, but we try and do like little link up. So I was mentioning that I lived at Opals. They have a common room there that's quite a good size. So we'll just do like a Wednesday night. We'll drop in the group chat the day before, so that it's with people, they don't really like to know about things a week before. I don't know what it is about them. But if you drop it the day before, they'll be like, oh, this is spontaneous. Let's just go and see what's happening. They see free food, they get excited. So we provide like small games nights. We've done a girls' night, we've done a debate night. We had a careers event with BAE systems. So it's like engineering firm and stuff. So we have done a lot of things that are not just parties and stuff, so people can meet each other. And that was my main purpose of coming to be president, because I don't want, it's not everyday party. Do you know what I mean? I get tired. Like, okay, cool, I like my Amapiade as is in person, but it's not everyday party. It's more about networking and helping each other. You know, at university, it can get very lonely. Like, I noticed this in my first 2-3 weeks at uni. Like, it was very lonely. So I just try and get people to connect with each other, make friends, have new experiences. We even had a master chef. So people that can't cook, will be teaching them, okay, you can't do that. Let's teach you how to cook and stuff like that. So the role of being a president is just very important to me, because I'm able to share my experiences, help people move on, and, you know, just enjoy uni life if they're having a tough time. But yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you. What general advice would you give to students wanting to study at university?
Okay, if you want to study at university, like, I wouldn't stress about, okay, what's your end goal and what you specifically want to do. Obviously, if you want to be a doctor, there's specific courses, like you need to do medicine, or you need to kind of go into the medical field of biomed, or, you know, neurological psychology or something like that, so you know what kind of route you're going into. But with a course as broad as mine, like business, there's many, many, many things that you can do. It's not just, I need to be a business guy, or I need to be a marketing executive. You can go into economics, you can go into human resources, you can go into management. Like, there's so many things that you can go into, and I wouldn't stress about, okay, what job am I going to get at the end, because there's people at your university that can help and support you. I'd say that definitely learn how to cook, because when I got to this place, there was so many people that didn't know how to cook. I was now doing an Auntie Ree helping people to cook in the kitchen. It was just crazy. But definitely know how to cook. Just be prepared. Be prepared to make friends as well. It can be quite daunting meeting many new people, but everybody's in the same position as you, if you get what I mean. For me, I came to university by myself. Like, I don't know anybody in the city, and I just came into a world like, okay, cool. I don't know the city. I don't know the people here. You just have to come with an open mind. Think of it as like a fresh start, especially if you didn't like school like that. This is your time to kind of shine. This is your time to actually show your true colors. So that's my biggest advice, would be to, you know, just go in with an open mind and see how it goes.
What advice would you give to students wanting to study at your university?
What would I say? My advice for people that come to University of Leicester is that don't be shy. There's like many societies, clubs, like people from DMU, we all mix. You know what I mean? People have this war of Uni of Leicester, DMU, we all mix, so you'll find friends. I'd say definitely try and connect with people as well. Try and explore the campus as well. It's a very big campus, so try and explore campus, see what opportunities they have for you, because they have many, many, many opportunities that they'll be emailing you, and stuff like that. So that would be my advice to people that want to come to Uni of Leicester.
And what advice would you give to students wanting to study your course at university?
My come with an open mind, definitely, because you could start first year thinking, okay, cool, I want to do business management. But then you might find that, okay, you'll study principles of marketing and be like, okay, I really like this. So don't be too daunted on the fact that, okay, cool, I've picked this on UCAS. So I'm going to have to stick with it. You can change, you can speak to your module leaders and stuff like that. They're very, very supportive. Just have a good relationship. Go to your lectures, because that's what people don't do. Go to your lectures. Even if you sit there for a bit, you don't understand what's going on, speak to your lecturers at the end. Like, everyone's very supportive. So, yeah.
You chose going to university over an apprenticeship.
Mm-hmm.
What path you to make this choice?
I just feel like I needed the experience of, being away from home, studying a complete different course. With an apprenticeship, you kind of work alongside it. I just wanted to be able to completely study without work on the side, as well. Because a lot of people have this whole, if you have an apprenticeship, you're not going to get a job, or if you go to uni, you're not going to get a job. But things will work out for itself at the end, you get what I mean? So I chose university to study something completely different, to have a different experience, and like, I do not regret my decision at all.
Okay. Could you tell us about going to university with a disability?
So I have a condition called NMOSD, which is basically neuromyelitis optica spectrum disorder. It's a very long name. It affects 1 in 5 million people. And mainly for me, it affects my eyes. So like, I'm actually visually impaired. Like, on paper, I'm severely visually impaired, but I look normal. I look normal. I'm still able to do my work. There's support services at uni. They have, people that can write your work for you, like your notes and lectures and seminars and stuff like that. You can get extra time. You just gotta literally, don't be scared to go to university with a disability, because the right people at your university will come and help you, especially if you put that down on your application form and stuff like that. Obviously, living alone was a bit of a challenge at the beginning, because you're not used to being specifically spoon-fed by people that have been looking after you at home. So it's just a learning process. If you need their help, ask for it. That's what I would say. If you get along with your flatmates, or try and make your flatmates aware of your situation so they can kind of help, or if there's an emergency that they know. But I've been okay. Like, obviously at the beginning I really did struggle, hence why I'm retaking a lot. But it's one of those things where I'm not ashamed of what I'm doing, because I've come so far. I wouldn't think before I came to university, or 4 years ago when I got diagnosed, I could even be able to come to university. The fact that I got all 5 of my options for university, and some people didn't, and I have a disability, a major life-threatening disability, you cannot think, okay, this is affecting my life, I'm not going to be able to do it, because you just have to think about all those people out there that, have been able to get this far. But yeah, that's what I would say about my experience with.
And just to talk about, for students who are worried about, making friends, you talked about like integrating, but just for those who are maybe in sixth form wondering, what is a piece of advice for when I first come, and making sure I have the best experience, even though I have a disability? Obviously, each disability varies, but kind of like a general, will make sure, like you said, maybe tell someone they have the disability, and/or do you think there's something else they could potentially do to just improve their chances of making friends and/or having a better experience?
Yeah, so I would say definitely during group chats beforehand, just like, even if it's your accommodation group chat or your course group chat, you don't obviously have to let them know your disability situation if you're not comfortable. Contact, your module leaders and accessibility team. That's one place that I'm actually grateful for. So no matter how big or small your disability is, which, there's multiple disabilities out there and they're not all the same, and I can understand that it's difficult, accessibility team will be your best friend, because there's even an accessibility unit in the library. So even for me, I have dyslexia on top of my eyesight problems, but I can literally go and work in there. So it's its own private place, and you can meet other people that are kind of like you, not exactly like you, but they all have, a disability, and you can kind of talk to them and do your work with them and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay. Could you, while going through university, do you feel like you've grown mentally, physically, spiritually? Just could you talk about your growth from starting at university when you first came to uni to now?
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely grown spiritually, mentally, physically, everything. Because when I first came to uni, I was just saying, the ones where you just pack your bags and say, I'm going, like freedom. But it's actually very daunting when you get here. Like when I got dropped off, I was a bit like, okay, so what now? You kind of learn how to live with yourself and live with other people and stuff like that. I've grown mentally. Like I can probably say for a lot of people that lockdown and 2020 was just a mess because we didn't know what was going on with this pandemic, but you just see other people around you and how they deal with it, and you speak to your friends about the difficult situations that you have. And then you kind of develop and bounce off each other's energies, which I think is quite good. So I think mentally I've grown quite a lot because I really, really did struggle last year. But being able to go face to face and see people, your actual classmates, not seeing them on Zoom or Teams or whatever, you can't even see their face, people snoring, whatever. It makes you grow as classmates as well. So I think I've definitely grown mentally. Physically, I think I've grown as well. I even started a cooking business last year because so many people can cook. So I was like, okay, do you know what? Yeah, let me stop cooking for people and, actually make a business out of it. So I've been able to develop something out of that because, you network with so many people, you see what they're struggling with. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I've grown in a lot of ways that I don't think I could have if I hadn't been at university, if I was at home.
Can you tell us about your YouTube channel?
Okay. So I started my YouTube channel in 2018 when I first got diagnosed. I was really, really, really sick. And when you just think the worst of things and the doctors are telling you like, okay, things are just not good, X, Y, Z. So I started that then just to entertain people, make people laugh. And I've just kind of grown with it. So sorry about that. I've just kind of grown with it. Just having video ideas. In lockdown, I was really, really consistent. And that's what I'm trying to get back onto this year, just because uni was just overtaking me last year. But I was really, really consistent, had ideas all the time. I was entertaining a lot of people. Like what I find crazy about YouTube is that this is not just your family and friends watching. There's people all across the world that, come to your channel and watch your videos. And it's just crazy to think how far I've come. I might only have a small amount of subscribers, but you can see the growth. Do you get what I mean? A lot of people want to start YouTube thinking, okay, I'm going to blow first time. That may be the case, but it's not the case for a lot of people. Do you get what I mean? So it's just it's important to kind of take each step of the way, and then you'll see from the beginning wow, I've grown quite a bit. So yeah, that's the reason why I started YouTube, just to entertain people, to see my growth, document my life, because it might help someone out there. So yeah.
At this point, I let students have what I like to call a free-for-all. You can say what you want about what you like. You can say something smart, you can say something dumb. Literally, the floor is yours.
I don't know what to say.
It could be anything. You could say nothing. It's up to you.
I don't know. I have no clue what to say.
That's all right. If maybe shout out your socials.
So all my socials are at the Zimby, literally Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. And I have a website that's coming along, which is out there, but it's not finished, which is Chronically RUE, that mainly bases around my journey with my condition as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'm plugged in.
Amazing. Thank you.